My name is Timothy Brittain-Catlin and I'm the Director of Studies in Architecture and Design at Gonville and Caius College. Caius is a wonderful college to study architecture at Cambridge. We have some of the most beautiful buildings in the university and we're right in the centre of town. We also have a fantastic community of Caius architects from first years all the way through to doctoral students. The great thing about studying architecture or design at Cambridge is that these are very varied courses with a whole variety of different activities. You'll spend most of your time working on design projects with the support of a design fellow who will guide you through, together with the rest of your group, as you work your way through challenging design projects which form the centrepiece of your presentations at the end of every term. But we also supplement this with lectures in the history and theory of architecture, in structures, in environmental design, which is of course increasingly important for everything that we do, and the history and theory of architecture. I'm an architect by training, but I became an architectural historian, and one of the great things about architecture is that it encompasses a whole range of different activities and interests, so there will for sure be something for everyone who has an interest in buildings. I'd like to say a few words of advice for anyone thinking of applying. What we'd like to see is a portfolio of some of your most interesting work. And of course, we're particularly interested in a focus on buildings, whether they are drawings, or whether they are photographs, or whether it's a historical study that you've made. What's important to us is to see that you are already developing a relationship with the built world. Let me add a tip to this. For us, it's much more interesting to talk to you about unusual buildings or about lesser known ones than it is about some of the great monuments, because these give you an opportunity to show that you have yourself researched the history of a building and have thought a bit about why this might interest you. When you come to an interview, we'll talk to you for anything between half an hour and 40 minutes about the kind of interests that you have and the work that you've done, but we'd love to see your drawings. If you can bring models, that's also an advantage. Another thing that I would suggest is that you read a bit about the history of architecture so that you get a sense of how professional writers on buildings talk about their subjects. What are the main points of interest? How do they compare to other buildings? What can you say about the style of a building? What is it about the appearance of a building that lets you identify its purpose? If you come ready to have a conversation like that, you will have a great time when you come for interview here. The main reason why people study architecture is usually because they want to become an architect. But in fact, in recent years, it's become more common for our architects to go out into the world and take a different direction. There is a whole range of different activities that it's possible to do with a good grounding in architecture. Some of those, of course, are connected to buildings. You might want to become, for example, a developer, an artist, an interior designer. Any of those areas are all very closely linked to architecture. But on the other hand, there's a whole range of activities in life which being an architecture student will prepare you for. For example, making presentations about your own work, working in a group, collaborative working. This is enormously important throughout the whole of architecture, but it's also a very valuable skill to take out into the world afterwards. Thought that was quite good, actually.
Yeah.